Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Brady from Celtics for Life, and today I'm going to be doing two videos because I missed these two obviously. I missed the first one at least, and I got to do the next one. Even though the Blazers game is happening later today, I'll probably push that back. I just might pull one out today as well for that. But without further ado, let's get started. I was at this game. I was at this Charlotte Celtics game, and I was pretty pleased. With the Celtics. Obviously, you go up 20, just put them away. But Charlotte fights back. They're a little bit of a feisty team, and they don't go away easily. Cody Martin had 9 rebounds. I did not know that. uh, he's their leading rebounder. Jeez, played 15 less minutes than the top guys too. But takeaways from this game, did what they were supposed to. Their stars played great. Jalen had 20 in the first quarter. We'd like to see him take a couple more shots in the second quarter, but he can only get so much. But Devontae Graham, he's a baller. On Charlotte, he's going to have a good career, I think. He just fits the play style of the league. Shot creator, shot maker, off screens, very good at that. And I also think, old friend Wanamaker is a good fit on this team, too. Tough, good defense, didn't have a great game. But he's tough. Let me take a look at some of the Celtic stats here. Tremont got the start. Wasn't incredibly thrilled with that, but he played a fine game. 6-6 here. But Tatum and Brown with stories. Tatum, really got it going in the fourth quarter too to help fight off the Hornets. He finished with 35, 8 and 8. Brown finished with 38, 7 and 4. And Thompson, 12 and 13. A couple good games, and then the emergence of Neesmith here in this game was very impressive too. And Time Lord came back, and he brought some good energy for sure. So I was glad to see, them play really well. They played a good game. They played a solid game. I'm still disappointed in Fournier, but we all know he's got COVID, and we can't really speak to what that's like trying to play an NBA game after coming back from that. But we would like to see him get back to full strength as quickly as possible because it's pretty obvious he's not quite there yet, even though in the Spurs game, which we'll get to now, he did look a little bit more himself in terms of his shot making and his defense in the second half. But no, this is the game I'm sure you all have been hearing about. This ranks among top 3 Celtics games I've ever watched in my life. I think a top 10 Celtics game of all time probably, and it's maybe top 2 greatest comebacks in Celtics history. Maybe one, not in terms of what the stat, but in terms of, the satisfaction, the opponent, etc. Factor all that in, playoffs or not, this is probably, I'll go top 3 for sure. That Rockets one was pretty special. But yeah, this was just a great effort in the second half, here's what a lot of people are saying. Well, you got to get down 32. How do you get down 32 in the first place for the Spurs? You get down 32 when the Spurs shoot 72% at it. There was like a minute left in the first half or whatever. The Spurs were shooting 72% in the first half. I think, is that what they shot in the first half? I think they just shot, they shot 70% in the first half. There's no matter what you can say, even if all those are wide open, no players usually shoot 70% and shoot around, okay? They were shooting 70% in game in the first half. It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Even if they were shooting 60%, that's pretty insane. But they were shooting 72% in the first half. That's hard to compete with. It's really hard to compete with. And then if you take your foot off a little bit, like the rest of the Celtics besides Tatum did in the first half, you take your foot off a little bit, it's going to be hard to compete with you not playing your best basketball, and then along with the other team playing at their highest possible ceiling. That's the best the Spurs ever played in that first half. So I'm disappointed in the Celtics defense there, but in that first half a little bit. But the Spurs made a lot of shots, made a lot of mid-range shots. DeJounte Murray had a great first half too, and then kind of cooled off in the second half. When we take a look here, we obviously switch the Celtics here. Great second half. We scored 95 points in the second half of this game, combined with overtime. Very impressed with the offense, and that was partly because of the defensive engagement they had in the second half, and the Spurs still scored a decent amount. But some of them were off some bad calls and free throws, and DeMar DeRozan just kind of taking over. The defensive engagement in the second half was unbelievable, and the best I've seen maybe all season. In that second half, it was fantastic. Maybe that Nuggets game is the only game. Maybe the defensive engagement was a little bit better. There might be a couple games out there, but this was just as good, if not the best I've seen from them this year. Smart was a great distributor. Really, he's like, nah, I'm not going to shoot. I cannot shoot us back into this comeback right now. He only took like 1 or 2 threes in that comeback. In the second half, he made one of them, and it was very important. Brown had an awful shooting game. I think he was like 4 for 20 or something. It was just not his night. But he hit a clutch 3 late, and that's all that mattered. That's all we needed. Tatum had it going from start to finish. He was playing bully ball all night long with the Spurs, in a little finesse game. He had the mid-range game going, and he had the 3 game going. He had everything. He had all the tricks in his bag tonight. The free throw line 17 times. Oh, sorry, the other night, not tonight, obviously. But yeah, Tatum was special. He was on another level. I don't even know if that's the best I've seen him play before because he missed a lot of shots, but he just took a lot of shots, and it was needed. It was definitely the best performance I've ever seen him had, and I know that sounds crazy. He dropped 60. How is it not his best game of all time? I look at that Warriors game. I look at something like that. I look at the Timberwolves game too. I think he shot more efficiently. He did shoot 20 of 37. So he did miss a lot of shots. But I'm not going to be negative. That was the best performance I've ever seen Jason Tatum have before. So that was very special to watch. I was impressed with Rob too tonight. 10-9 for sure. Again, Smart was great, but Nesmith, he was fantastic. 16-6 and 1 tonight, or not tonight, the other night. Nesmith was fantastic. He was all over, and it was the first time I saw him shoot. I was like, this dude is a dead eye. And I get why he shot 50% in college. After watching that game, his shot was in sync. It was confident, and if we can get that Nesmith, if we can get that, not forget the hustle and everything else, we can get that shooting from Nesmith every single night, and then you add in the hustle as well. I mean, we just got ourselves, potentially our 6th man off the bench. He could be that good potentially, and even maybe someday work his way into the starting role. But we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. But this is back-to-back games with 30-plus minutes and great production from Nesmith. And also got to credit Tristan Thompson again with another fantastic offensive rebounding night. And Peyton Pritchard, he didn't play a lot tonight, but he had one big shot. It was really clutch, It was a big 3 to cut us the lead into 5, so that was big. I can't remember if Tremont started. I think he might have, but Tremont was alright. He wasn't that great. Defensively, he struggled, but he didn't do a lot of things to really make you say, well, this doesn't belong in the lineup. I think he's good for maybe 5 minutes a game, maybe. So I think keep him at that for now. He was a good energy source for sure in that Thunder game, if I remember correctly. And then he got some more minutes versus Charlotte and started. So that was good to see him playing all right, at least in the Charlotte game. And Grant played well too. He had a couple threes and a nice dunk. That's what I expect. I don't need to see anything more than like 15 minutes from Grant tonight, unless it's a situational thing in terms of matchup where we need Grant to play, 20, 25 minutes. turns a matchup and he's got it going, and I think that's okay. But I think we can limit Grant to 15 minutes just so we can see Neesmith play more, and get Fournier more under his feet, who started to look a little bit better, but still he still needs to get back into things. No, but overall, past couple games have definitely been a turn in the right direction. So we just need to keep this going here to the playoffs. Kemba obviously hurt, so we get him back, and I think things could be starting to look in the right direction again. All right, I'll see y'all after the Blazers game. Peace.